Totally free, extremely valuable to you and your business, and something you need to set up ASAP for your website, your Google Analytics account, and your Google Webmaster Tools. Hi, my name is Liz Jostis, and I own Eli Rose Social Media. And today we're going to talk about Google Analytics and your Webmaster Tools, also known as your Search Console, what they are, why they are important, and why you need to go ahead and create those accounts and verify those two programs, essentially, with your website as soon as possible. So both of these products are owned by Google, and they can be, and really it should be, set up under the same email account. And there's a connection between your two accounts and your website, and there's a verification process, kind of like how you do for a lot of different social media platforms or other kind of software or whatnot that you are using. And they are both related to the same kinds of things, but they are separate, just functionalities, separate systems. Your Google Analytics, which you're probably more familiar with, is your website analytics. Google is considered the most accurate website analytics platform that you can use. And like I said, it's totally free. Honestly, Google Analytics gives you so much data, your head can spin. But it is, if you kind of dig in there, you can sort of see the stuff that matters most to you, but it gives you information on your website, your traffic, your pages visited, where your website traffic is coming from, even some demographic information, what sort of device is being used, where in the world the visitors are coming from, information like that. So how your Webmaster Tools connects to your Google Analytics is through some of the reports that you can get in your Google Analytics. So years ago, Google Analytics started showing not provided for some of the keyword data. And that data, if you have your Webmaster Tools set up, you can get that data that you used to be able to get through your analytics that you no longer can through your Webmaster Tools account. And so when you connect the two accounts together, some of the reports and the data that you get within Google Analytics actually will pull in from your Webmaster Tools. Said another way, if you try to visit those reports in those areas in your Google Analytics, it'll say you need to go ahead and connect these to your Webmaster Tools in order to have data showing up there. Now, your Webmaster Tools can kind of feel a little bit more technical maybe, because since it is your Search Console, you can do things like submit a sitemap for your site there. Now, I know lots of CMSs have other sitemap options, but you can submit a site there. You can also see crawl errors and other things. Like I said, it starts to get a little bit more technical, but it's really important information because it shows you and lets you know if Google's crawling your site, how many pages it's crawling, how many pages are indexed by Google, and if Google's running into any problems while trying to crawl your site. Because Google needs to crawl your site and index your site in order for your pages and posts and products to show up in search and start showing up higher in search and being served up to people who are searching for the kinds of things that you provide. So the other part of of Webmaster Tools, and I just went through this a couple days ago with a client, it can uncover some of that keyword data that's important if you are trying to optimize your site for search. So you can do things like see where pages on your site are ranking. You can see things like keyword phrases that direct people to your site, and that's really wonderful because you can see, that gives you information so that you know if you are creating content and optimizing content around the phrases that people are using. Alternately, and this is what happened with a client, is that she's had these accounts set up for some time, and we were able to see 3 different sort of groups of similar keyword phrases. They were all a little, variations from the others, but they all were kind of built around the same theme, and they tended to average spot 7 through spot 12 in search results. So if you think of search results, there's 10 on a page. So like 7, 8, 9, 10 would be at the bottom of page 1. 11, 12 would be the top of page 2. That's sort of a sweet spot too if you have just hundreds of blog posts or pages on your website. If you want to know where to start with improving your SEO, you want to get close to that spot 10, so that maybe some of those pages that tend to end up on 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 on that page 2, if you can improve their SEO so they start ranking on page 1. So we were able to uncover 3 little groups of keywords, phrases that I was able to go back to her and say, hey, I don't think you have content for this stuff on your site right now. These would be really good things to create blog posts for, so then we can incorporate these SEO phrases to even improve your ranking even more for those phrases, since some page on your website is already kind of showing up pretty well in search for those phrases without you intending to rank for those pages. So it's very helpful in that way too. So both of these things, whether you're gathering website traffic information to start following trends and understand more about your site visitors, or you're trying to understand how Google sees and understands your website, the sooner you get those snippets of code added to your site and verify those snippets with your Google Analytics and with your Webmaster Tools, the better, because you'll start collecting data sooner and you'll have more and more data and information to base future decisions on. So if you have any questions about analytics or Webmaster Tools, please leave them in the comments below. If not, you all have a great rest of your day. Bye.